call to order the Thursday, August 9th meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. Welcome one and all, and will everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have our Metro Cable announcement. Open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay Sunday, August 12th, 2012 at 1 p.m. and Monday, August 13th, 2012 at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website, www.metrofire.ca.gov. Now we move to the public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. I have one speaker card with me and would like to welcome to the podium Mr. Roger Mitchell.
Good evening, Madam Chairperson, board members, Chief Hinkey, administration. I come before you tonight with a thank you. As always, we had an event at Old Station 111. It was a reception for the Horseless Carriage Club of America, the Northern California Regional Group, and it was well attended. Our director, Mr. Monk, was there. Larry Davis, the chief, was unable to attend. He's really busy, but I do bring a word, Chief. In our event, we were lucky that one of the members of the Horseless Carriage Club is also a member of the Keystone Cops. And when they arrested Supervisor McGlashan and Congressman Ossie, the comment was made that the chief is next. So you have to come to our next. But one of the things that was a great success was one of the mechanics from the shop brought over one of the reserves trucks. And we put the ladder up and hung a big flag right over Old Betsy. And it was well accepted. People thought it was great. So again, I come to you very humbly tonight to thank you, as always, for your support. If it was not for the support of this district and people like Chief Hinkey, our director, Mr. Monk, Larry Davis, all of you, this project wouldn't be possible. So I certainly would answer any questions the board might have.
Director Monk?
Not a question, but there was something left out of Mr. Mitchell's presentation here, is that our Supervisor McGlashan and Doug Ossie, the former congressman, weren't the only ones that were taken into custody that day. Mr. Mitchell was also, and you can tell the number of friends and everything he's got in the community out there, because he raised a lot of bail money to get out. So, and all that money was donated back to the group. So we really appreciated everybody showing up and participating. And it really does show the community spirit and the support that we're getting from the Horseless Carriage Club, who the people that I talked to really appreciated the effort and planning on coming back again next year.
I think we're very lucky, Director, that this project, there's a lot of people that restore cars and old fire trucks, and we understand that. But, maybe because of those pictures that you saw there, that we tied pretty much together that two previous members of the fire district that were in the member of the Horseless Carriage Club, it was that they kind of wanted to see this done. So it's amazing the kind of support it's getting just because of you might say, the history of what went on 50 years ago. So anyway, thank you very much.
And thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Always a strong community member. Appreciate it. All right, moving on to consent agenda. Chair will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
All right, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Monk.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Clark. Aye. Pearson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Directors Arzali, Newcomer, Scheidecker absent.
Correction, we do have...
I'm sorry. If I would raise my head, I would have seen. Thank you very much, Director Arzali.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. We have one action item on our agenda tonight, Board Committee meeting schedule, Jones or slash Orzali. And we have, on page 23 of our packet, we have the proposed calendar year 2012. Do you care to speak to the policy scheduling, sir?
In the present configuration, what's been proposed is the policy committee would meet when it was felt there were key issues that needed to be reviewed, and these could be brought forward either by the policy committee itself or by staff. And it seems like the most efficient way for us to move forward. So those will be scheduled as necessary in the future.
Thank you very much. And also, I'd like to call attention that our second meeting in November is on Thanksgiving, and our second meeting in December is on the 27th, which is rather close to the holidays. Traditionally, what we have done is we cancel those meetings, reserving that last meeting in December in case there's something time-sensitive that we need to take care of. But now would be appropriate time, I believe, to just issue that we will be canceling those meetings unless otherwise notified. Any consensus enough on this? I believe so.
I make a motion, we adopt.
Okay. First and seconded. Please call, any questions or comments? Vacation's good, huh, sometimes? Especially for the staff during that post-Christmas season. It's pretty crazy. Alrighty, please call the roll.
Directors Monk,
Aye.
Gould,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Orzali,
Aye.
Clark, Pearson,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Newcomer and Scheidegger absent. Motion passes. Thank you.
See, what we can do for revenge is not tell those two guys that we did this. Alrighty, thank you. Alrighty, moving on. Here we go. Presentation items. We have one listed. It is Cost Allocation Plan, NBS, and we have Chief Financial Officer McFarland and Greta Davis from NBS. Welcome to the podium.
I'll just start this off by saying earlier this year, the board approved a consulting contract with the firm NBS that we competitively reviewed a number of proposals and selected them to do work on this cost allocation plan. It's the first of 3 projects under that contract and the first one to be completed. And I'm not going to steal Greta's thunder by talking about that because she's going to lead you through, what the work process was and what our outcome was. And this is really an important linchpin to making sure that we fully recover costs where appropriate. So I'm going to turn it over to Greta, who has a couple of decades of experience as in the financial experience in the government sector, and does this kind of work for a number of agencies up and down the state. So, Greta, I'll let you go ahead and present your item.
And welcome to the podium, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, board and staff and members of the community. My name is Greta Davis, and I won't bore you with all the number crunching that we did. It's a couple hundred pages of numerical data, but I'll just summarize some of the highlights for you and the process that we went through. A cost allocation plan, the purpose is really to look at the agency's indirect overhead costs. And what I mean by that is the support budget areas that the district has. So those costs that encompass the administration, personnel, HR, like information technology, those types of costs. We look at those costs and how best to allocate those costs back out among all the divisions within the agency. These costs are allocated again to not only the divisions, but also the special funds as well. Our scope included 2 versions of the cost allocation plan. The first has been completed, and that is what we call the full cost allocation plan. It's primarily used for internal purpose, for internal budgeting purposes, for claiming indirect costs, reimbursement from either special funds, or the biggest use that the agency will have will be most likely user fees from possibly community risk reduction or EMS, and again, potential recovery in the grant reimbursement area. We will prepare a second version, which is called an OMB 87 version. That version is used for state and federal grant reimbursement of overhead costs. In preparing the cost allocation plan, again, we looked at the budget areas that provide support back out to the agency itself. We identified different specific line items within the budget that can't be directly identified to any one area. So what we do is speak with the different budget units, the different divisions, and determine how best to spread those costs back out amongst the agency. Who is really receiving the benefit from those costs? In the case of, let's just take HR, for example, just about everyone in the agency receives benefit from the HR division. Fleet, for example, most of the costs are going to be in suppression or EMS, those folks that are actually out there using the vehicles, using the fuel, that kind of thing. So each particular division was looked at, what functions they actually provide, and then a determination was made about how to spread those costs. Okay. There are different summary tables within this nice thick little document. Summary table allocation schedule 3 is a summary of the costs that were actually allocated out. This is a table, an excerpt from that table. So the district had about $140 million of costs that we looked at that could potentially be allocated out. And again, these are the areas. These are the support areas for the district. We also have a detailed schedule for the outcomes, which is allocation schedule 2. That one's a little bit larger. I did not include it in the presentation itself, but I believe it's in your packet. This schedule, again, shows the results. It shows the outcome of those allocations. So how much of the support costs was allocated to EMS or to Station 50 or so on and so forth. Okay. Again, the uses of these costs is really to define interfund transfers, reimbursement of some of those support costs, or to recover through any direct billings that they might have agreements with other agencies where they're providing services. And of course, indirect overhead costs in the grant reimbursement area. This is a very high-level summary of the results of the cost allocation plan. So most of the indirect costs have been allocated to the operations area, which of course includes all the suppression, hazmat, community risk reduction, EMS, and a helicopter and strike unit. So about 97% of the costs were allocated to your service areas, your operational areas. And then about 3% was allocated to the special revenue funds. Again, the full cost version of the cost allocation plan is what we have completed. The OMB version is currently in process. Again, that will be used for federal and state reimbursement. At the conclusion of this report, the district will have a final report as well as the model that we prepared. The model is prepared in Excel. So Rhonda and her staff will be trained on the Excel model and will be able to update it ongoing if they so choose. So please keep in mind that the cost allocation plan represents the maximum amount that is potentially recoverable. 140 million is a great number. The district will most likely recover indirect costs again in the areas of fee recovery through community risk reduction, EMS, and grant reimbursement area. Does not make a lot of sense to recover indirect costs from general fund to other general fund areas. That concludes the presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions, comments? Go ahead, Director Gould.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I appreciate the brevity of it as well. 200 pages of hard data is a little hard to chew through, but thank you very much for that. Based on your, and I find this hard to believe, your decades of experience, not that you just don't look like you have decades and decades of experience. With that being said, when I think your expertise, what is the negative or the downside to doing this kind of accounting in your experiences with other organizations?
In my opinion, information is always a good thing. I don't necessarily see a downside. Again, it represents the maximum allowed that the city can recover. Most agencies do not recover indirect costs from general fund areas, except in the areas where there is user fees potential, or if there are agreements with other agencies to recover full cost, fully burdened hourly rates, which I did neglect to mention. We will be providing, as a part of this component, fully burdened hourly rates for all positions so that the district can recover reimbursement from any other agencies. I don't see a negative, to be honest.
Okay. I just had that question because I didn't see some of those issues you just addressed, so thank you.
With this cost allocation accounting system, is this the first step to creating profit centers within the district somehow and then charging back to different areas of the district?
That is not typically what it's used for.
Okay.
Obviously, we prepare the cost allocation plan. It's really just representing and calculating what the indirect costs are.
So we're aware of it
Right.
somehow.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
intent. Mhm.
Wouldn't one example be, let's say there's a hazardous materials call and we send units out, and let's say that is a recoverable cost. This gives us a resource, pre-existing resource, to help us quantify the potential recovery cost for responding to that incident. Is that correct, ma'am?
That is correct.
The maintenance that's performed on that vehicle, to the personnel, to every other little item that may be on the unit. Okay.
So this is the indirect cost component of the full cost that allows the district to have that documentation.
It represents the true full cost of an operation. Yes. And I believe there was another, did anyone over here on my left have a comment or a question?
The chief seemed anxious.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we can be challenged. We can't be in the for-profit business. We have to be in the accurate cost recovery business and be able to justify mathematically and with data what our direct and indirect costs are. And it takes a lot of effort in a study like this to get there. But really where it comes out is in fire prevention fees, EMS fees that we're charging, where you guys approve rate increases, false alarm type fees, the things that we have to, on a regular basis, charge for fees for service to come back to the district. Most of the time with external customers or external governmental agencies, we now have the data that can show that we can justify those fees and that we're not overcharging. And so that's really the importance of it. And for the public, we're not allowed to be in that profit type business, which I think Director Kelly was trying to point out, is that's not the system where we're headed at. So it's about recovering total costs for when we provide a service plan checking, those types of things. When you say it's going to cost X amount of dollars, they're going to say, well, how do you come up with that? Well, it's going to take us 2 hours to 3 hours to do that plan checking. Here's all the indirect and direct costs that go into that plan checker that does that, overhead, all that stuff, and that's why the hourly rate to do that plan check is X.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any further questions?
Madam Chair. Tonight when we arrived, we received, I believe it's the updated Schedule 2 allocation. Is that what I'm looking at? Where'd she go? Is that what was in our sealed, is this an update?
Actually, your original packet had allocation 3 and not allocation 2.
Okay.
And then when I saw Greta's presentation referred to that page, I went ahead and provided it to the clerk to distribute to you.
Okay, thank you. Is there a way that I could get a quick synopsis to describe for me on allocation number 2? It says initial allocation outcomes, first, second, and total. For the non-accountant, can you describe what that means? Because there are some pretty significant changes. And so I'm just wondering what this means to me.
Sure.
Good question.
So you want to look at the total column, of course. OMB 87 guidelines requires a cost allocation plan to be prepared in a manner that requires 2 types of iterations. So typically what happens is, let's say we have a real simplistic 3 support departments. So those 3 support departments allocate costs to each other first and then out to the district. So 2 of those, or I should say, those 3 support departments pick up indirect costs from the other support departments. So they add costs to them first, and then they allocate the rest of the costs out. So the first iteration allocates the costs to the other support departments, picks up that cost, and then allocates it out. You really need 2 rounds of iterations within a cost plan in order for the central service or the support departments to receive other support costs and then allocate it out. Did that help?
Sure.
So what would happen is, if I understood it correctly, that, yeah, clear as mud. The first round is more of the internal one, and that would bump up the numbers for 1 and 2, so that when you go outside the 3 internal components, they have already allocated their costs so that their true costs are showing, because 1 and 2 have to get allocated to 3.
Yes.
So 3 is going to be a little bumped up. They'll be short if you don't do that, right?
You are correct. And that's
Oh,
because
That cleared it up.
like HR provides support to, let's say HR provides support to information services. Information services picks up that cost, adds it to their cost, and then allocates the cost out. So there are costs allocated from the support departments or the support divisions to each other. They also receive support. It takes 2 rounds of iterations to allocate all the costs out.
Next question, Director Gould. Go right ahead.
Forget it.
Oh,
Thank you.
No,
I
these-
appreciate that.
All
I got
kidding
it.
aside, no,
Makes total
I
sense.
didn't,
Yeah.
we just got this, and I'm looking at the same thing.
Takes 3
What does
circles
this
to make
mean?
the 4th. I got it.
All righty. Chief, you have any comments about this?
The only thing I would say is that this is long overdue that we do this for the agency, and thanks to Rhonda and her staff and Ken and them, and getting NBS in here. This is very, very important to our function and our ongoing business plan of how we're providing services to the community. I also think it's very, very important because it allows transparency and clarity to the community when they ask a question on why am I being charged something. We're complying with those regulations in providing this.
I couldn't agree more, Chief. Thank you very much. All right. Ms. Davis, thank you so much. We appreciate all your work. And we'll look forward to the second iteration, OB 87 or whatever. And we'll have our questions ready for you. Then we move into the 3-dimensional. All righty. Thank you very much. All right. President's report. No report tonight. Chief's report. Go ahead.
President Jones, Board of Directors, I have an update. For most of you, I think we're aware, a retired Deputy Fire Chief Dwayne Aaron had a pretty serious medical issue that occurred last week. I'd like to let you know that after surgery and a several-day stay in the Kaiser facility, which did a phenomenal job, he is now home resting and is expected to make a full recovery. The other thing I'd like to report on is the firefighter chili, or the firefighter cook-off. I shouldn't have said chili. Summers and those guys will have me for that. We again, Kevin Summers and engineer Tom Chin, took the top prize at Cal Expo. I'll tell you, on Sunday it was a nail biter. This means that we now have won our second Golden Bear competition. And so we are now tied with, I think it's Woodland, that has 2 Golden Bears as well. They were not very happy about the defeat, even to the point of I thought they were arguing a little bit with one of the judges. But at the end of the day, great congratulations. A lot of people came out from the department. Staff was there. I know Director Kelly was there. And if I missed somebody, I apologize. But it was a great event. They just did a tremendous job. And we're looking forward to next year, where we hope we'll be the first to win 3 Golden Bear Awards in the cooking competition. And Kevin Summers sent out a Firehouse Best Chef competition update to all of you so you could read what they prepared at that event. Today I participated in the League of Cities conference call. I will be serving on a panel in September at the California League of Cities in San Diego, along with the number 2 Chief Deputy of Los Angeles County, a Chief Financial Officer from the City of San Diego, and also a fire chief out of Cathedral City. And our whole issue is going to be about how important fire-based EMS is to cities and municipalities in California, and about the transition to the new healthcare system that's coming to you soon, and how that delivery methodology is going to be out there, and how important it is to municipalities to be part of that system and not disown their EMS system. I know we don't have that problem here, but you hear departments around the state of California talking about, well, why are we even in the medical business? Well, we're in there because it's the best for patient care, number 1, and number 2, it provides that cost recovery opportunity there to be able to also help support the services that are critical in fire and all risk emergency service. So we're looking forward to that. Upcoming dates: promotion ceremony August 14th at 6 p.m. Rancho Cordova City Hall. I think you're going to want to get here early. I think that's the date that there's it's our next board meeting, or is that the date we've got another event going on here?
The 23rd is
Yeah,
the
okay.
Genesis.
The 14th, you're still going to want to get here early because there's like 40-something people that are getting promoted. There will be dignitaries from the state fire marshal will be here. I mean, very, very well attended. So remember, August 14th at 6 p.m. We have everything from chief officers down to captains and engineers that are being promoted. All of them worked very, very hard, and I hope to see everybody there at that date. Also, you're going to hear later tonight, but on September 9th through on September 9th, they've got the September 11th stair climb and memorial run at 9:11 a.m. and the significance there. And I believe that the Metro Firefighters Association is going to get up and do a presentation tonight, so I don't want to steal their thunder, but certainly I will be there. I encourage everybody to be there. It should be a great event. I will participate in the walking event, 5K. I'm not doing the 10, and I look forward to having everybody there. New hires, none to report. Reinstatement effective August 1st. Leslie Miller was reinstated as a public education technician along with our plan, so that brings us up to a level of 3 to get that community service out there that we need. I don't have any retirements to report. Promotions, Marie Bernal, who you guys saw over the last several years, the longest part-time employee in history that worked full-time. And I don't say that, I think she was here almost 2 years and did a lot of heavy lifting with Rhonda. I'm proud to announce that she's been promoted to accounting specialist and certainly earned that position after all the hard work and heavy lifting that she did in getting the finance division up and running. Recruitment, I think we talked about this. The bottom line is for firefighter, paramedic, that is continuing. We have 52 people invited to background orientation, which happened on the 26th, and currently we've got them all going through the background checks. So we should have, we're looking to hire 2 classes of 25 in this fiscal year, and we'll see how that works out. The single role EMT and single role paramedic, on the 6th of this month, they had the online written exam for EMT and EMT paramedic. And next week, they're going to be having, I believe, oral interviews of those candidates for our single role paramedic program and EMT program. So we're pretty excited about that opportunity and getting that kicked off. We have accounting technician, internal only, final filing date of August 10th at 5 p.m. We also have a payroll specialist, final filing date of August 20th at 5 p.m. And that is, I believe, external, unless somebody can correct me on that. No, they're both internal promotions or opportunities. It is what? Oh, they're both internal and external. So for the public, accounting technician, internal only. However, the payroll specialist, final filing date of August 20th at 5 p.m. So if you haven't applied out there and you're watching this, definitely understand that we are hiring a payroll specialist, and please make sure you get your application in. With that, that really concludes my remarks for this evening. Thank you.
Operations Chief Holbrook, welcome to the podium.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. In the 14 days since we last visited, there have been 2,261 EMS dispatches. That's about 161 a day. And Metro Fire and AMR transported 72% and 71% of the time, respectively. There have been 19 structure fires in the last 14 days. Unfortunately, which is well above our normal, unfortunately, we had a rash of smoking-related fires interior to the structure. It's not uncommon to have discarded smoking materials from the outside work their way in, but these happen to be interior fires. We, as always, hit a very strong media blitz relative to the disposal of smoking materials, and hopefully that trend abates. I do want to take a moment and tell you about something that's actually tremendously prideful for this agency. We have members of NorCal Team 2 and other overhead sprinkled throughout the fires throughout the northern state right now. It's not just the engines that go up there. Today, we have finance, we have logistics, we have planning, and we have public information officers spread across the northern state that are literally helping these incident management teams bring these mitigation efforts forward for these incidents. That's a big deal. That's a tremendous source of pride for this agency to be able to contribute on that level at the state and national level for those positions. And finally, I'll leave you with the fact that we had 2 TEMS deployments, the Tactical Emergency Medical System, 2 deployments in the last 2 weeks. And I am happy to report that all of our folks, including the law enforcement brethren that we are there to protect, came home safe from those deployments. So that's all I have, if you have any questions.
Comments for Chief Holbrook? All right, Chief, thank you very much. Appreciate the report. All right, General Counsel's report?
No report tonight.
Metro Fire District Firefighters Local 522 report? Welcome to the podium.
Thank you. President Jones, board's members, Chief Hinkey, senior staff, community at home, 522 brothers and sisters, and the rest of Metro Fire's family. I say good evening, and I am here because Vice President Ty Bailey asked me to come give the 522 report, and to the best of my knowledge, the only news to report is specific to the 9/11 both run and climb that we have coming up. Does this microphone work here?
Yeah. Excuse me, sir, would you please introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Matt Cole, Firehouse 106. Sorry, this is my first time stepping up at this podium. So, and if you don't mind, I just stand over here. I don't like turning my back to people. So is this okay right here? All right, thank you. So like I said, I'm here to deliver the 522 report, specifically as it pertains to the 9/11 Run to Remember and 9/11 Memorial Climb. First, I would like to thank members of this board for actively participating in the helping of putting last year's run together. Members of this board were actually out while we placed the 2,977 names on the Pentagon memorial that we built, that we placed in the park, so that when runners finished last year, they placed a flag in front of each person's name. So that made that very real, and without the help of members of this board and members of the community and our fire family, that would not have happened. And that made that event very special. So thank you for that. An update for this year where we stand. I'm going to correct the chief just a little bit in that the Run to Remember actually takes place on September 9th. The Memorial Stair Climb is on the 11th. They are two separate events in the dynamic that 9/11 falls on Tuesday this year, and we cannot close the streets in downtown Sacramento to do the run on the 11th. So we have moved it to the 9th, which hopefully this event will continue to grow and be successful, and we will continue to do that the Sunday closest to the 11th until that memorial falls on the weekend again, which just by chance happens to be on the 15 year. So until then, we'll continue to have the climb and the run on different days. As we stand with the run this year, as you can see on your screens in front of you, and for those that are out here, this is our poster for this year's event. We have huge support throughout the community. You'll also see on there that there's logos of not only 522, but many law enforcement agencies in the area. This is our opportunity to have a day when we can have public safety and the community blend together in a positive event to remember not only the fact that those people sacrificed and were lost, but that our country obviously molded together and overcame the attacks, and that we're moving forward, but remembering what happened to us. So with that, it gives us a good chance to get all of public safety out with the community and intermix. So I'm happy to say that I'm fortunate enough to coordinate the efforts of both law and fire in this event, even more so than we have in the past. So it's a very coordinated effort. Our registration right now stands at 388 runners, which is fantastic. But last year we were fortunate to have over 5,000 people in the park with us. So the challenge for us this year is that it is not the 10-year. It is not as monumental in the coverage that we're getting from media and other buildup, because it's not the 10-year anniversary, if you will, of the attacks. But it is no less important to remember because it's 11 years. So our challenge, and the one that I've put in front of the very talented group that is planning the event, is that we have to put it in front of as many people as possible. So we are very active in getting out to many run organizations. We've been going to events in the county and the city, specifically targeting large opportunities to capture an audience, like Second Saturday in downtown Sacramento, different runs that have been taking place on the Parkway, handing out flyers at malls. We have a number of volunteers. So if anybody wants to help, there's much opportunity to do that. And it goes for the folks at home too that are watching. Our website to register for the run is www.sac911run.com. The proceeds from this event go to local widows and orphans funds. So I'm also here because I'm a trustee for the Sacramento Area Firefighters Widows and Orphans Fund. We at Metro are fortunate that we have a Widows and Orphans Fund that is specific to our Firefighters Association, which Jeremy Crawford is the president. That obviously helps the burden when families are affected by a loss. But we have a larger blanket now that is a 501c3 charity that the local put together that now community businesses can support through that 501c3 donation. And that's where these proceeds go. We split the proceeds 50-50 between fire and law enforcement. So a lot of our law enforcement brothers and sisters also have 501c3s that they're able to build those funds and help families in times of need. So it's really, the benefit of the event is on multiple levels, and it's continuing to grow, but without getting it out in front of people and encouraging them to participate, we won't be able to continue to grow. And it's very important because of all those, benefits that I mentioned. And I would like to thank senior staff. They've been hugely supportive thus far. It's a big undertaking, obviously, to put all this on. And we have resources throughout the entire area, but Metro Fire has been key in helping us obtain the things that we need to make this happen. The Memorial Stair Climb, like I said, is on September 11th. We will be sending 5 companies down to climb to represent the district, as well as 105, I think, off-duty Metro fire personnel that are signed up to climb. We cover our names with the name of a lost brother, and we carry it 110 floors to the roof, where we put them together on the roof in some memorial towers that we have built. This is our 4th year of doing it, and it's an honor and a privilege to participate every year. And I just want to thank the fire district again for supporting that. So unless you have any questions about the event, I would just encourage everybody in the room and everybody watching to go to that website again is sac911run.com and sign up for either the 5 or the 10K. You can absolutely walk the 5K. You can walk the 10K, but we encourage a little quicker pace there. But that's definitely the family-friendly side of things. And then once that run is complete, we have the tribute in the park. So again, we will be giving every runner that finishes a flag to go put in front of a person's name. And then we encourage those families to spend a little bit of the afternoon together. We'll have some musical entertainment out there and some family-friendly activities for kids to participate in. And it's just an opportunity to kind of spend some time together. The way this summer's going will probably be a little warm, so we'll have shade tents provided, and I think that it'll prove to be a nice afternoon. So please join us.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any other questions and comments, Director?
I kind of had the stair climb is going to be at the Renaissance, is it with the towers again?
Yes, sir. It'll be at 801 K Street. Yes, 801 K Street, the Renaissance Tower.
That's what I wanted to make sure that's where it was again.
And please, for that climb, sworn personnel are the only individuals that carry the name, but we encourage everybody in the fire family, no matter how involved or how removed you are, please join us in the lobby to see 343 firefighters together to represent, the loss that our extended family took. That fateful day 11 years ago is significant and powerful and makes us realize how very real that is, and their sacrifices paved the way for so many things, and awareness throughout the community of what the fire service really does and can sacrifice. And so I would encourage anybody to come and join us in the lobby to witness that.
Yeah, from what I saw last year, don't worry about us, we're climbing the stairs.
It is some work, and we all climb in full turnouts too, so it's it was
significant, pretty rough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Director Gould?
Madam Chair, thank you. Last year, you gave us an opportunity to participate. Do you have a list of things that we can do? I'm unaware of anything that you've provided or that we can participate in besides the actual event. I know that we did some prep work. Is that available for us again this year?
Absolutely. Currently, we have those same memorial boards at Station 105 that the crew at 105C, with some help from the crew at 41C, they're cleaning up the boards and making sure that they're in the condition that we want placed in the park. So there is some hands-on need there. Also, I would ask if you're interested in just helping spread the word. So that doesn't just mean forwarding on emails and those kinds of things, but actually physically putting out flyers. I have a list of events that I can go over with you as far as some runs that we're going to go out, and we've been putting flyers on windshields of cars at runs, and really any kind of help to get the word out is the most significant right now, but we would love the support over at Firehouse 105 too to clean up those boards.
Okay, I'd appreciate some kind of a list with dates and times where we can look at our calendars and match that up if that's available.
Absolutely. I will send something out to everyone in the fire family so that we can get as much exposure on the upcoming opportunities to help out.
And thank you for that. And then one final question, it's more a curiosity. As we do these kinds of events of this magnitude, is there any reason that we couldn't put something on our 40 or 50 or 60 pieces of apparatus that are moving around in the community every single day that at least gets that word out? I'm wondering if there's any reason why we couldn't do that, since it's so closely tied to what we do every single day. I know it would be a delicate issue because there's a lot of people who would then ask us to do some things that aren't as closely tied, but I'm thinking getting the word out, and we've got all this apparatus running around every day to the tune of 2,100 events. Is that something that agencies have done in the past, or could we look at that as a possibility in the future?
I imagine that question's for me.
You imagine, right?
I don't think there's anything that would prohibit us except cost. I mean, you would have to have some sort of magnetized, I think what you're thinking is like a billboard on the
Sure.
side of the engine.
Sure.
And I think that's what's going to be the cost prohibitive thing, is the design, development of that, and the actual ability to put it on there and take it off. It'd be magnetized, I would assume. And I think there would be cost to that, which we don't have the ability to do. And we're probably running up against the deadline, but that's something I think that perhaps could be looked at for the
Oh,
future.
yeah, no, I'm not suggesting it for this year. I was just thinking with all of the community partners that we have, that may be another opportunity for another community partner so that we get that word out in the future. Certainly not for this year, it's too soon, but I think that's something that we ought to potentially look at because it is such a huge event and a good one that we need to be involved in pretty deeply.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
Thank
I'd be
you.
happy to work with fire chief or anybody in senior staff to figure out different options that we have to continue to help this event be successful.
Thank you.
All right, are there any? Thank you very much.
I just have one more thing I'd like
I
to.
apologize.
sorry.
Engineer, what was your last name?
Cole.
C-O-L-E?
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
I'd like to thank Director Gould for not commenting on the brevity of my report because I didn't know what that meant. I was a little bit nervous because he used the word brevity earlier. And
It's fine.
all right.
Thank you,
Thank-
A.O. Cole,
thank you.
appreciate it. All righty. Okay, moving on to committee and delegate reports. Executive Committee, we have no committee meeting planned at this time. Communications Center, JPA. Chief Cochran, welcome to the podium.
President Jones, Director Scott Cochran, Deputy Chief of Support Services. Since we last met, we've had two meetings with the Communications Center on the 31st, and then that was a regular meeting. And again today, a special board meeting. I'm happy to, wanted to thank the locals 856 and 150. They're bargaining real well in good faith. They're supporting their membership and trying to get them everything that they can. But we're having a very cooperative and progressive negotiation. So we feel like we're getting pretty close on theirs. Theirs expired at the end of June, and we're getting pretty close to settling on this now. So we're excited about that. The final applications were due in on August 3rd for the new Communications Center manager. We got 21 people had applied. On August 21st, the group will come together and we're going to choose, I don't know what the number of yet is, but we're going to choose the most qualified to take them into some additional meetings in the first week of September. The board meeting today, we basically had a closed session personnel, and we provided the council some information to move forward with. So that's all I have for that. Any questions?
Okay, thank you, Chief, appreciate it. We have California Fire and Rescue Training, JPA, Director Kelly.
The JPA has not met since I last reported out. Our next scheduled meeting is the 12th of September. I'll have something to say.
Thank you, sir. Finance Committee, Director Monk.
We had a Finance Committee meeting this evening in which Ms. McFarland gave us a update on period 13 and actually how we've come out at the end of the year. And I've got to say that with the changes that this board has made in medic fees and other areas, that we're heading in a positive direction. There's still some work to do, but with the thanks of Local 522's concessions, the medic fee changes, and some other moves that are being made now, we are heading in the right direction. And through the statistics and everything, you can see where things are starting to turn around. We just hope things continue turning around. And our next meeting is going to be on
1 month from first meeting in September.
yeah, the date on here is wrong, so. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Director Monk. Policy Committee, Director Arzali.
Indicate, as we previously indicated, the policy committee will now meet on an as-needed basis.
All right, thank you very much. All right, what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and move to board member questions and comments, and then we will recess to closed session. So let's begin with, started to my left last time, we'll begin to my right. Director Monk.
I want to say congratulations to all those that are being promoted. Congratulations to the efforts of 522 in pulling together the 911 run and the stair climb. There's an awful lot of effort that goes into that, and that's a fine group to be able to head it up. They did great last year, and it's important to remember what happened and support the people that we can. I'm glad to see law enforcement was included in it because it is our extended family, and we support them and they support us. We rely on each other in that support. So it's nice to see us working together to be able to put that all together, and hope it continues. Other than that, congratulations to the staff, the finance people for putting together the fine reports that we're relying on. And again, we're headed in the right direction. Thank you.
Director Monk. Director Gould?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First off, Ms. Davis, thank you very much for your presentation tonight. We appreciate that, and we appreciate the initiatives that are going into determining exactly how much things cost us around here. I think the chief mentioned that it's long overdue. I fully concur with that. Now, as we request fees, we have something that we can say definitively is what drives those fees, where before I'm not sure we were in such a position or a strength position. So thank you very much for that. And like the president said, I look forward to the next report, which will move us in that direction. We've just had some stellar financial reports over the last several months, and they just continue to get stronger and stronger as we tighten that part of this agency up. Very good to see. The other day I was awoken very early in the morning to a very large truck in our agency that ran around the corner and took care of a small fire in a neighbor's yard alongside the house. There was minimal damage, but what was more impressive was how they took care of the folks that were in that home, and how they made sure, some of which have some physical and mental challenges, how the agency was making sure that they were okay at that early in the morning. And then just to have some of my neighbors come by and thank us for having such a wonderful response. I think it overwhelms them when they see the level of response that we provide for those kinds of events, those fires. And it was nice to be in the position I am to have those accolades. So I share them with the staff that responded to that small fire. The neighbor was very appreciative of how well the crews handled that. They were in, they took care of it, and then they left. And congratulations to all of them. On a more personal note, I support the restrictions that the county supervisors have placed on the American River related to drinking on the river. It's one thing to, just from a pure safety standpoint, that's a no-brainer. If you've ever had to deal with somebody that's drowned, it's a no-brainer that we shouldn't be drinking and rafting. But more importantly, and probably equally important rather, is that it's unacceptable to me that those people then put our people at risk. We're there to help, and you start chucking stuff at us? That makes no sense at all. So I fully support what the supervisors are doing and trying to restrict that behavior. You want to do that, you do that in your private residence, and then just go to town, chuck rocks at each other. But don't chuck them at our people, and don't put our people at risk who are there to save your life. And so I fully support what they're doing there. I'd love to see that be full-time, where we don't have those tragedies. I don't think people realize that even after the tragedy, those rescuers suffer significantly if they have to go into some of the modes that they have to. So hopefully we can get that taken care of. And if you don't like it, there's the McCollumee, or there's the Yuba River, there's some other river you can go to and behave that way. Finally, the Run to Remember, what a great effort that the staff and that the folks are doing. And this is just another example of how it's not just working in fires or going out on EMS calls. It's doing these kinds of things in the community that allow us to remember how fortunate we are to have liberty in this country. There were a bunch of people that wanted to take that liberty away, and there was a bunch of men and women that ran in to take care of the victims of someone that wanted to take that liberty away. And so kudos to all of you that are working your tails off to make us remember, because we get pretty lazy sometimes and forget just how much risk we're at for having those kinds of events. And it's the men and women that are helping us remember that need to be congratulated. Thank you very much.
Director Kelly?
Yes. The the Finance Committee, the report on the Finance Committee, not sitting on that committee, but having an opportunity to look at that report, I wanted to compliment on how clear and concise the information seems to be, and the ability to actually take a look at it and figure out what's going on and see the improvements that have been made to different divisions and the definite benefit financially that they've taken. So my compliments on the formatting on that report. Outside of that, I attended the firefighters cook-off. It was nice to see Metro Fire win again. Certainly, I haven't seen those recipes, but I look forward to seeing them. And then earlier today, I got an email that was forwarded to us by the board clerk, and it was relative to a gentleman named Crowder. Had a heart attack somewhere El Camino on Watt Avenue, pulled over, asked somebody to call him on, or call 911. I believe it was 106, maybe 111 that responded to him. And this was an email from the family that said that, the captain at the time that was responding made a phone call to the mother as they transported the gentleman to Kaiser, and gently spoke to my mother and gave her the news. And it made me imagine getting that phone call for a loved one or something, and the way that Metro Fire responds to incidents like this. This family was very thankful because they had a little bit more time with this father husband, and he's still in critical condition, I guess, at Mercy San Juan now. But again, it just was it was wonderful to see somebody showing the appreciation for something that our folks do as a natural reaction to emergencies that they respond to. So again, many reasons to be extremely proud of this organization and take pride in being affiliated with it.
Thank you very much, Director Kelly. Director Pearson?
Oh, well, I had an opportunity a couple weeks ago to spend a weekend the birthplace of liberty, Philadelphia, and it was with a bunch of firefighters, international organization. And what I found interesting is our problems aren't much different that we're facing here across the nation, and internationally, actually, Canada, Guam, many places are suffering the same things we are. What makes this place unique is the way that we handle those problems and how we face those problems, and the staff that we have. And rather than look at a problem, they look for solutions, and they find those solutions, and they keep pushing until it works. And it's a three-pronged approach. There's some departments I talk to that you talk to the union guys and they have all the ideas, but nobody's listening. And then you talk to some of the management, and the management has all the ideas and nobody's listening. And then you talk to some of the elected officials and they have all the ideas and nobody's listening. And obviously that creates a problem. And here, what's nice is we compliment the staff, and they deserve it quite a bit. And we compliment the labor organization 522 and what they've done, and they deserve it. But I just want to tell each of you that I'm proud of working with you guys and gals, and the hard work that you put into this district also, because it does take the board along with the staff and the labor to all work together. If we pulled out, we wanted to declare war on the labor group, this wouldn't work. If we declared war on the chief and his staff and wanted to back everything that the labor wanted, it wouldn't work. And we have a nice balance, I think, and we're all working together. And you guys, I know, volunteer a lot of your time, and I just wanted to say thank you for that, because I've seen in other situations where it's just not working. Like you take the mayor of Philly. I mean, he's not signing their contract, even though he was ordered in court to sign the contract. He's just refusing to do it. And then for no other reason other than just to be ornery. And, that doesn't do anybody any good. So I'm glad that we don't have those issues here. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Pearson. Director Clark?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I'd like to also congratulate our CFO and her staff for a wonderful job. You guys are doing a fantastic job. We really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the August 14th promotion ceremony. I'm thrilled to see some of the people advancing and being promoted. There's been a lot of promotion, and the chief's really making sure these guys are rewarded properly. And also, I'm looking forward to the 5K run. The 5K walk. That's the one I'm gonna do. And this time I'll register ahead of time. I appreciate all the information that we've been given. Finally, I want to wish Chief Aaron's a speedy recovery, and I will continue to keep him in my prayers. That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Clark. Director Rosali?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This will be brief. I simply wanted to express my appreciation to the finance team for all their efforts. This is arduous work to do, but it is critically important, and we sincerely appreciate it. I also want to express my pleasure at Chief Aaron's recovery. This is a great thing, and I'm very happy to hear that he's doing well. And the 9/11 walk is, I was hoping that I heard you say 5K. I was hoping you were saying 0.5K, but apparently not. So I look forward to that in a very strange way. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Director Rosali. I have the easy part. I can say that I agree and appreciate all the comments that my fellow directors have made. One little tidbit to add, and the chief referenced it earlier, at our next board meeting, August 23rd, there will also in this building, Rancho Cordova City Hall, will be hosting an artist reception for local artists. Their displays, I believe it began a few days ago, the artwork displays here at City Hall. And there will be an artist reception for the Genesis Art Project here, celebrating local artists here in the Rancho Cordova area. And it will be from 5 to 9 on August 23rd. So hopefully we can have our meeting can be concluded by then, and we can also participate. That would be nice to do. All right, if there are no other questions or comments from the board, we will adjourn to closed session. Thank you. Hereby adjourned.